Neha, and that is Orko. And we are back here to talk about Indian football. Let's start with Indian Women's League. First of all, I'll welcome the two guests onto the show. Welcome back, guys. Hope you had a good weekend or week. What day is it today? Uh, week.
Yeah,
Week.
it's Wednesday.
Okay, so I'm not going to beat around the bush. A lot of things to discuss about IWL. Obviously, a lot of questions have come in, which we will look into now. So let's just discuss with the good things first. The biggest IWL that they have put together before in the entire history of IWL. And for the people who don't know, the top eight who are going to get into the knockout gets into the next year's IWL as a eight teams who are going to be there. The two teams at the bottom will be promoted next season onwards. So these they are fighting for more than just the title this time. We are just giving you that sort of understanding there. Now, getting to the teams and the nitty-gritties of it, Abby, when you look at how the teams have been put together, what do you think of this season's IWL, the level that you are going to see?
See, I think we all pretty much know the fact that a few clubs have spent well, gone sort of all out to assemble a team that they think can win the title. Um, I think overall, in terms of combination, I think there are some teams that have a good combination of players. I think have pretty strong squad. I think of like among say six clubs or so, I think it should be quite competitive. But in terms of how the overall quality is going to be, I genuinely think that there is not going to be too much of difference in terms of the kind of gameplay that we are going to see overall.
Orko, what is your take on the whole sort of situation? Because we saw within the okay, obviously the telecast started late. By the time the came for the Gokulam match against East Bengal, they were already 2 goals down, which is like first 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, I think we're talking about the game itself here.
Yeah, we know. Just adding on to what Abhi was saying, the class difference or the level difference between teams is pretty stark in this league.
Huh. But it was a very promising debut by East Bengal. I felt. I felt a lot of teams in the league would have done much worse in their debut IWL match, and I mean, as I was saying, Gokulam's kind of a level above notch of everybody else. So the speed at which they're playing was surprisingly very good to see. It was very good to see. And this is an Indian coach at the helm, going for a three-peat. Let's remember, third straight title, and I mean, on this evidence, and as our predictions will show, they are the favorites to win the title. And mind you, East Bengal will be better than many more teams in their group. So this is really a statement of intent. And East Bengal troubled Gokulam Kerala. That also I'll give. Gokulam Kerala can be troubled. They have their what I saw, for example. I mean, there's a question mark for the fullback's ability to play out of the back. Um, the right-sided one, especially. So um, it's there are people who are already on the same page in that team. For example, Indu Grace and Samba are very good together. So I mean, if they can sharpen themselves, and I don't know if Abby mentioned it, but nobody scored 2 goals against them last year.
I was going to say about that.
Uh,
Like Gokulam did not concede like 2 goals against any opponent last season. So yeah, that's saying a bit about East Bengal. And yes, like Orko mentioned, I also genuinely think that they played pretty well. I think they were better than probably a lot of teams will be against this Gokulam speed, particularly. But yes, that also gives Gokulam chance to actually have a look at the game and figure out where they also need to work in terms of their defense, because their attack is top notch, but defense is something that they probably will have to keep an eye for and probably work a little harder on.
Okay, so since there are a lot of teams, we'll just go by a bunch. Who do you think star? I mean, obviously we know Odisha, Gokulam looks like the strongest team, but who do you think is going to be like the dark horse, right? Who can challenge for the team, but it's going under the radar for a lot of people.
So wait, so I will just set the format for this. We have all predicted the dark horse. I'll just read out everyone's prediction. Sandeep, you predicted the Kickstart would be the dark horse,
Yes.
and Abby has predicted East Bengal and Lords FA, right? And I said it was Hops, and Hops lost today, right? I still stick by it, right? But I'm just going to come to Abby first, right? um, I mean, Hops should not really be losing, right? I mean, Hops is a team playing at what 30-40% of its potential. Abby, you think with just the physical monsters that they have, like the insane work rate that they have, and that is essentially where this nascent league is at. If they had, let's say, 10% better decision making, Abby, you think Hops would be a top five IWL team? And I think this is something that we also thought, because I mean they should be top five. There is no indication to say that they should. They are the best of a state that sends so many footballers, so many women footballers out, and this is the best team, right? And we've seen what they can do. Like when they're actually pushed, we've seen what they can do. It's an amazing team, but you think uh, it's these are the ghosts of past again coming back to haunt Hobbs.
Yeah, I think Hobbs for the past 2 seasons has shown great capabilities, and it's just a matter of when they can actually start converting it in the IWL. Honestly, they shouldn't have lost today. Not against Sports Odisha. I think Sports Odisha has lost a lot of
Hmm.
players.
To Odisha FC,
Their
nonetheless,
their
yeah.
team is yeah, their team is definitely not what it was last season. So yeah, they shouldn't have lost to Sports Odisha. I think Sports Odisha is going to be playing that um the game of strength. They have a few players again from different states in the northeast,
So
and
there is a twist. Apparently, Hobbs versus Odisha Sports was Haryana versus Haryana B. There were
yeah, yeah,
8 players. I was just checking. These are the same 8 players from the same academy that sends players to Himachal Pradesh to play all there. So, in a very ironic twist of fate, again, and this happened when Himachal defeated Haryana to win that under. It was again Haryana was Haryana B. So again today, Hops state have been their own undoing. It's yeah. Sorry, go on, Abby.
yeah. So I was just saying that Sports Odisha have put up a mixed team like this time around. They, like you mentioned yourself, they're players from Haryana. There are also players. I think a couple of them are from Manipur. Um, so I think they have a mixed team. I wouldn't say I still wouldn't consider them as strong as last season. But in terms of hops, I genuinely feel that they kind of take a little bit of time when they come into the IWL. I just feel like the fact that they have reached the stage or something. I mean, I am not sure what plays on their mind, but I've seen that in the even last season it was pretty much the same thing, that they do struggle initially, and I think they take a bit of time to settle down.
Yes. So these are your picks for the dark horses, is it?
Yeah, these are
So
picks
we
for
have a
Hop.
question about Lord's FA.
We,
Obviously,
we can't say because we haven't seen. And like I was saying, they've had a lot of reshuffling. Some of their players who they have signed have gone out, and I think signed for other. So I think there was some sort of financial crunch there. Is what we are hearing. But Lords have definitely have lost players. In the KWL, for example, they had both Indu and Kartika, if I'm not mistaken, and both are playing for other. clubs, right? And we saw what sort of difference Indu makes. Like she's just too uh, she's just too good. Like I said, her Samba and Go Grace are on the same page. Like I said, so we'll continue with the predictions. Sandeep, who did you pick to be your surprise package?
Um, I have to think. Let me. I did I pick ESU
No, surprise package as in for player.
player? Oh, Lalrin from Misaka.
So yeah, so just heads up for everybody. We picked these before the IWL began. We just had time to do the show today. But Lalin Masaga, yes, she scored.
She scored today.
Yeah,
The only
I,
I'll tell you why I picked her. The only reason I picked her is I've seen her in
hmm,
the local leagues here,
hmm.
and for that team, Misaka, I think she might be the only one or two who's actually played IWL before. So she's going to add a lot of value to
So
Misaka as a team.
so
So I really like her, man. She's a good player.
I picked a team. I picked a team that I picked a player that again you would have seen. I picked Kavya P.
Yes, very
Uh,
kickstart striker.
Kickstart striker. I
But the
think
only, you know why I didn't pick her? They have two foreign strikers. I don't know how much she'll play.
how much maybe she'll get shunted out to the wing.
Yeah, could be. Yeah.
Okay. Huh. Flash. This I want to address. Uh, maybe please
Like her, I
show me
also.
around your city and अगर football है तो definitely I'm always open. But I think Paji lives in Delhi if I'm not mistaken. Uh, so anyway,
No, also, but I think just wanted to add when we were talking about Lords in particular, I think they have been weakened in terms of their squad for sure. But I think the couple of their foreign signings have been good in terms of Kami, who they got from Philippines, and Anita Basnet. So Anita Basnet we've seen in the league earlier as well. So I do think that there are chances that they can spring a few surprises.
On Lord's FA. So, who did you pick
Yeah,
as the player that you are expecting something great out of?
I picked Neha. She's playing for Hobbs. She started today. Uh, I do think that Neha is probably one of the very few slight like intelligent footballers that I have seen in terms of in her age group. So I feel that in terms of the amount of work she puts and the way I have seen her develop in terms of her understanding of the game, or like having some sort of understanding as to where she should play the ball, cross, where accuracy of the cross and everything. I think she's worked on it. I think I've seen development in her, and I do think that she can be a surprise package in the IWL.
Yeah. I just want to ask you about which teams do you think are going to struggle in this IWL? Because there
so
was a question here
yeah,
earlier
yeah, yeah.
from
So
Ashu. One second. There was a question here earlier from Ashu saying the average quality of the team will be lower than last year because the top, the best and the worst, probably because the pool is
yeah,
not
yeah.
the deep.
Also because I think this was a known fact that teams were struggling to find players. Essentially, the pool isn't even that deep, so you have a lot of younger players who are now coming through who have made the cut. So what's going to happen is the average age of the IW is going to go up more and more as the pool increases. This year, people have struggled to find players, and this is a fact. And hence, average quality will go down. For example, I'm curious to see how both Misaka and Mata Rukmani do against the stronger teams in there. And like, no offense to any either team, you know against the really strongest teams in their group, right? So, no, so we had a question. The, I think all of you are asking which is the team likely to overperform and underperform. Sandeep, you chose Misaka as likely to overperform. You chose Churchill as
Yeah.
likely to underperform.
But can I have to say, I also, just before we were starting, I was also talking about ESU. Just because of the romance of the whole team, I feel like they will also perform well. They have good players
They
who've
are a
gone back to
strong
their
team.
roots. They are
They
a
are a
strong team.
strong team with internationals and ex internationals. They are a strong team. So they are so Abby picked like ESU to likely to overperform. Again, like I said, disagree with that because simply because they are a strong team, they'll perform according to how
But they were
strong they
put
are.
together last minute, and they were almost not going
Yeah,
to play as
that
well.
with like I mean a lot of them have the chemistry. They played Manipur State also
Yeah, yeah,
together. So they are going to, and they just played the lot of them played the senior state nationals this time. Abhi hua. So they played and Manipur topped a difficult group. I mean Karnataka was there,
yeah.
and Assam was Manipur B. They were also there in the group. So likely to underperform. Uh, Abresh chose Misaka. Uh, I chose East Bengal as likely to overperform. I still stick by it. I think it wasn't a fair reflection. East Bengal went direct, but they troubled Gokulam, right? It's just that they didn't know one basic fact of football, that was the offside rule. Nobody had taught them that the offside rule. This is a fact. It's a fact. They couldn't keep themselves. Otherwise, um, the line for Gokulam was always like upaniche, like there was always one person, you know, and that is a danger, right? And like most teams in women's football did do that, and like Gokulam had someone like a Sabitra to exploit it like fully, right? So I chose likely to underperform as Setu FC, and I just have this feeling because they've lost a lot of their players over the years, and it's a I mean it's a tough group also for them, right?
I would disagree with you here in terms of underperform, tagging them as underperform. I don't think people expect them to perform well.
Sure,
So I'm not sure how underperform
sure,
works
sure.
then.
It's the same thing as ESU, right? For example, you are
Yeah.
saying ESU will overperform. I am saying ESU will perform exactly according to their strength, which is they're a strong team. That's what I'm saying. And since simply you're saying, yeah, I say to nobody expects them to perform. You're saying they aren't one of the top four seeds anyway to go into next year's top eight. But that's the thing. The beauty of the qualifiers is they'll probably play the qualifiers and get through anyway. But from that group, and this is a very good segue, I chose to go through from that group OFC, Lords FC, KFC, not Chicken. This is Kickstart FC, and Eastern Sporting Union. Right? I think three of our four picks were similar. I think Avresh Mina chose also Kickstart, Odisha, ESU, and Lords to go through. No, you didn't choose Kickstart. Oh, so you did. You chose 9 teams there. You chose 5 teams. So, and Sandeep chose
I've
Odisha.
also chosen 9 teams.
I think that's a counting error from our end,
He
Sandeep.
chose Odisha, Kickstart, ESU, and he only
I
chose
think CRPF only because I think they will
CRPF.
be very fit.
CRPF from this group. Yeah, he chose four.
Yeah.
Right. So, uh, yeah, and I chose wait, like I said, I chose Lords FA, and I omitted Setu. Only Abresh chose Setu to go through. So yeah, just running through the rest of it. I said the MVP would be Samba, and yeah, I think it looks like a very good bet on day one. Uh, I'm just gonna say this, and I'm gonna throw it to Abresh also. Some like strikers have come and gone, players have come and gone, but Samba is Samba. Like she's still like the force to be reckoned with in the league. And last time that was a Samba versus Bala final, it was Samba who came out on top. Setu defeated Manipur Police 3-1. I'm not mistaken. Huh? So
Yeah, 2019.
2019 or 20, yeah, 2019. So yeah, I be Samba, the MVP.
Sabitra Bhandari is a delight to watch. I think in terms of her movement, in terms of the fact that she throws herself in the box, like she wouldn't shy away from just going at the ball with all that she has, find those spaces. That I think her fourth goal, that strike, I think in the top right corner, it was insane. It was so good, such a good finish. So yeah, I mean, it's true. Like Savitra, matlab, you can just keep watching her on the field, and I think we've all been very lucky to have almost continuously enjoyed her in the IWL. To be very
Yeah,
honest.
and I think all three of us had very good shouts for this one for the MVP. Abby chose Indumati, and I'm just going to again. I'm going to speak for Indumati. Like what a player! Like her and Kartika operating in the middle for the national team. The Tamil girls, like superb decision making, and like she used Sabitra to the fullest today.
Yeah,
She was like, if Sabitra pulled the strings a little ahead, little, you know, a bit what is advanced in the pitch, and it was Indu in the middle, right? Because Shilki at times her decision making left a lot to be desired. Both Shilki and Kritina, again, I think were the big question. Yes, they had some moments and flashes in the middle, but I mean, these are two that Coach Anthony will have to probably think about.
yeah.
I really want Kashmina to come in because I think she's
Same. I
such a
was.
good
I
player.
saw the starting lineup. I was pretty disappointed.
Yeah,
I did not see
yeah.
Kashmina there.
Sandeep also had Bala, who's also again, like I said, a really good shout. I think last time she played, she got like what 20 goals
Yeah.
in the whole
No, the
against.
only reason I'm very curious to see how she comes back from that
Yeah, she's
injury.
back. She's back. She's hungry.
But
She's been
she
injured.
has
Yeah,
to play a lot of games in a very short duration. So I want to know
yeah,
if the
yeah,
knee holds up. Can she lead this team, which is a new team? He's the captain. Can she lead that
yeah,
team to the title?
yeah,
So a lot of question marks around her. So I really
yeah.
want her
Yeah.
to do well.
No, so I think we'll come to the main question that we have all answered. Winners and contenders. Uh, Contenders. Sandeep's written Gokulam. Abresh, you've written Odisha and Kickstart, and I have chosen Odisha as contenders, which means I've obviously chosen Gokulam to be the winners. So has Avresh Mina, and Sandeep has gone a different way. He said Odisha,
Odisha.
right? So given my luck this year of trying of kind of throwing my weight behind teams, it's been a really bad year for me in particular, right? I supported FC Goa, then Dempo, and then one
Bangalore
more
FC
team.
yesterday.
Bengaluru FC, it would have been nice if that won, but we'll come to that also.
Yeah, we'll come to that later.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, Lajong also, and so Lajong and Dempo, one of the teams. I really wanted to get these guys into the I League because I mean they're one for the romantics, right? So
Yeah.
uh, Lajong, I think, can still do it. Dempo looking very precarious in that group. I don't think only top two make it. So I'll be Ara and Ambernath United. Short, digression from the league, but yeah. Uh, Sorry, Abby, do you want to speak about again? We saw
Okay.
East
I
Bengal.
am going to butt in here and ask a
Yeah,
question, which I think is very relevant to this league because I have seen some of the performances in this league. I noticed that few clubs, Visaka, Lords, they've gone for a foreign goalkeeper, which I
Yeah.
have seen some of the
yeah.
goalkeeping here in the Indian leagues. It's
It's
not really good
abysmal.
at all. Like
Yeah, no,
I've
no.
seen it go right over their
See,
heads and all.
we don't need to patronize this. It's
Yeah, it's
abysmal.
really bad.
Yeah.
So,
It's
how
It's bad.
important do you think this
it's a
decision to
master
get
stroke.
this?
It's a master stroke. It's a master stroke because, uh, I mean, for the simple fact that uh, there are no keepers, right? There are no keepers. I'm going to say this, and some people will get offended. Some people who give a lot of interviews are going to get offended, but essentially, what we have are influencers, right? So, I mean, the goalkeeping situation is dire. right? And I mean, I really wish Fanta hadn't suffered that injury. I don't know if she's playing for ASU this time, but she should be. If she's not playing somewhere, she should be. I think she might have got injured again. I'm not sure. But the goalkeeping situation,
She
yeah, I mean, there aren't a lot of,
she is in the squad.
huh?
She
In the
is in the
squad, yeah.
squad.
And the foreign keeper you saw playing, because one more thing, in women's football, it's very rare to see a keeper play with their feet. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I mean, she could do it all. Beatrice, that's her name. She could play short. She could play long. She could do it also. I mean, foreign keepers are here to, or like here to stay. Like that's why like you made it two from one, and what it's this is what it's done. I'm not in favor of it. I was never in favor of it. I'm just going to say I'm not. Like uh, at this point in time, I think only the one foreigner is enough, and I'll you also tell you why there should have been one in the second division as well. One is probably because your centre backs also have to learn how to play against them. Your goalkeepers have to also learn how to face against them. Your midfielders also have to learn how to face against them. Right? They improve the technical quality of the league. Whether you like to accept it or not, that's your choice. But that is the reason you keep one. But the moment you keep two, then your keepers are the ones who suffer, and that is what going to happen with a lot of teams. I feel somebody else was also playing with a foreign keeper, right?
Yeah,
Sorry?
Lords is playing,
What's
Misaka
his
is
name?
playing.
Um,
Lords
Misaka,
has a
playing with Malaysia.
Malaysian, and Misaka had a Malaysian. Lords has a Philippines player, I think.
Philippines
Hmm.
keeper. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now we'll move to the questions. I think just flash Ashu's question, and then we'll take all the questions from Twitter.
Ashu's question. This
Now
okay.
from next,
From next year, 10 team IWL with further defined structure, 4 tiers, he's saying, is supposed to happen. Do you think
no,
ISL and the prominent I League clubs will
uh,
be ready now to field women's team?
no, no, and they should not be. Also, I'll give you the rationale. I'll give you the rationale. Do not. I'm not anti women's football. I'm not. I'll give you the rationale. The structure at the state level, district level has to be fixed first. There is no
Yep.
ecosystem. There's no ecosystem. They'd rather invest in the ecosystem. Just give money to the state FA to conduct the league, right? I Do you agree with me, Abrishmina, on this?
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I don't think at this point in time, IWL, like defining structure like this will make any sense. It is the state and district level football that needs to be sorted out, especially district level. I think district level is almost non-existent, and for states also it's mostly a tick box exercise. So, yeah, definitely do think that they need to fix the lower levels of the pyramid first before it's. But again, like when I'm saying it, I kind of just realize. I mean, that is how we function, right? We always try and look at the top first instead of fixing
But
the bottom.
but
So,
nonetheless, I mean, I know it's small wins. Even if they field a team, that's a win. And now you have two of the 11 ISL teams fielding. I mean, why I think ISL team makes sense is because women's football right now there's no return, commercial returns at all. So they are the only ones who can bear the loss. And yeah, but then again, people
but do you think they would
I
want
don't
to,
know.
given
Yeah,
that they anyway incur a lot
yeah,
of
the flip side is
losses?
they're anyway losing a lot of money, right?
Still,
So
there is a conversation I had. Like, I wrote an article about two articles about women's football this week.
yeah,
One of them was a
Yeah.
preview for IWL. During the initial conversation with the minimum wage and everything, one of
Mhm.
the club owners actually suggested a thought that this is AIFF's way of ensuring that small clubs like them no longer compete and they can get the I League
Yes,
ISL teams. It
yes,
seemed there is a plausible, it is plausible, I think, but I'm not really sure if
yes.
that's the thought process.
Someone who attended last year's licensing meeting told me they wanted to keep like a minimum bank guarantee of 25
Yeah.
lakh as a bloody clause, and that's again very stupid, right? And this 32 lakh is probably the end of all community clubs as we know it, right? Somebody asked a very pertinent question also: how many of the clubs do you think can actually afford it? So I mean, that's also a question we have to take, and I'll go team by team. I'll tell you guys everything, right? But uh, I mean, again, people will be like, you just protest everything they do. No, the idea was for you to grow the game commercially first, right?
Wait, we are getting to that.
Yeah.
So,
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Talking about the 32 lakhs that they have to incur now, right? As it is, teams are incurring like 20, 30 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs, whatever, just to go there and play 6 games, right? 6 games, right? That doesn't make sense in the first place, right? That doesn't make sense in the first place,
yeah.
right? So it's all over the place. That's all I'm saying. It's all over the place.
Yeah, look,
Go on.
in that conversation, those clubs, the smaller clubs, pay around 40 lakhs, 45 lakhs at the moment to run a women's team that can play in the IWL. Now, when the question they are asking is 3.2 minimum for 10 lakh, 3.2 lakhs minimum for
32
10
lakhs.
players,
32
32
lakhs.
lakhs is gone there. Then you have to obviously play the rest of the 15 players. Then home and away, that means you have to look after the stadium facilities and all that, plus travel and everything. You're looking at a crore to 1.2 CR.
1.2 CR. Yeah.
And the legit question they're asking is, what is a return? I think IW winner gets 10 lakhs.
Exactly.
And he's like, why the hell should I pay so much money when I can't find sponsorship, when I'm not on TV, when I'm not able to sell anything? Merchandising is not there, ticketing is not there. There is no income in any way. I'm losing 45 lakhs, I'm okay. 1.2 CR is a major
So,
change.
having worked on decks, right? And let me just unpack this for everybody, right? So they're absolutely clear on where we stand, right? The fixtures were announced 10 days. I think 10 days or 2 weeks in advance. Yes,
No,
right?
I don't
Not
think
even
so.
that.
Not 10 days, no.
Not a week, was it?
Yeah, okay, let's say a week.
Right. Sure.
Okay, even let's say 10 days also.
Yeah. So no. So I'm going to work backwards, right? When a team. So I'm going to unpack it for some people who might not know the process, right? When a team um, tries to get sponsorship, they make what are known as sponsorship decks or pitches, right? And that takes them some time, right? They have to understand the market, they have to understand, they have to cold call, reach out to people, right? Have that initial conversation, have 3, 4, 5 meetings, right? And then there's some back and forth. It might take you almost like 2, 3 months to finalize something, right? That is the normal process that you have to go through, right? And it starts there. It doesn't even start with the no broadcast day. It starts from the time that the fixtures are announced, right? If you look at the ISL, it seems like a proper time, and they freeze the squads, right? Like and right now, there's a federation which is not even making enough collaterals for social media, right? So I'll tell you what happens when you put out a jersey with Misaka on it, right? And the sponsor's name. That's automatically collateral you're getting on AFF's handle, which has a certain amount of followers, right? Not that there'll be any conversion for sponsors, but just the basic gratification that is also not there, right? And we are not even hit the game yet. We are talking about putting lineups before using a Misaka jersey or a Mata Rukmani jersey before the game, right? We're getting there. Then we go on to the pitch where there might, and what, you'll be pleasantly surprised. 16K people. That's not a high number, great, but it's a start. It's a start. 16K people watched Gokulam's game today versus.
That is for a lot of that is more than a lot of ISL games, to be very honest.
No, I don't know.
It is. There are quite a few ISL games that were telecasted on Hotstar that got 10K or less.
So I think those numbers on Hotstar are concurrent numbers, and this is the total number of views that Gokulam got. But I'm saying still 16K is very encouraging for the women's game, because we have seen Abby, you and me, 2015, 2016. I think those grainy Facebook telecasts and 80 people watching it, like, and we are two of the 80 people watching the thing on Facebook, right? But
Yeah.
a lot of it has gone against the teams, right? Nobody's coming to watch at 8 and 4:30, right? The only thing that is stopping teams right now are the cost of floodlights, right? Which it is the federation's duty to bear. It's a bare minimum, right? Because you want to be commercially viable, right? And of an IWL player yesterday put out, it takes peanuts to get like one camera and one person. This is just apathy. It's not funds. It's not funds. It's apathy, right?
Yeah, and look at it also. I mean, the question that I have put on is from Kemp FC. They are a football club, a women's football club. So they are also asking the same thing: is it sustainable business ecosystem? To that end, I think when I spoke to the AFF ahead last week, they said they will subsidize something. I mean, they subsidize I League also, but it looks like it's going to be a flat subsidy, which I don't think helps anybody. Like the smaller clubs will need maybe a little more help than one of the bigger clubs who are able to fund themselves, in some way, shape, or form. And this 8 a.m. just imagine, right? 8 a.m. kickoff. You have to be there at 6:30 in the
Yeah,
stadium. Players have to be in the stadium at
yeah,
6:30.
yeah.
So that means you have to leave, wake
Re-
up around 4:50.
reporting time is 7, and believe me, Abby and I have done it for some seasons. Okay, reporting time is 8. Reporting time is 7. If it
It's
is
an
8,
hour and a half, dude. Like
yeah,
not 1 hour.
hour and a half, hour 15 minutes,
Hmm.
right? Most team then team also has to get warmed up, get a feel of the pitch and all. So they definitely won't be there at 6:30. They'll be there at 6 ish is
yeah.
when they'll be at 6 ish, 5:30 ish is when they'll be there. So they, yes, they'll have to leave at 4:30 only from their place of.
And then they have to wake up earlier than that.
And no, I'm just saying it's being held in Gujarat, right? So I want to know, where does the chain of custody end? Who has whose responsibility is it to get in the crowds, right? If the Gujarat FA suggested we'll do it at 8 at 4:30, are they getting it? Are they getting people in,
Yeah.
right? So we don't. That's not something we know.
And also, I don't understand the logic of it in Delhi. Like, we had, even when it wasn't like absolute winter, we had matches starting around 8:39. Okay. And here we are talking about Gujarat, and you are having a match at 8 in the morning, right? So it's just bizarre. It's just bizarre scheduling. It's not thought out well enough as expected. And it's simply very discouraging, I feel, because for anybody who is invested into the game, it becomes very obvious that they don't care as much about it as they claim to.
Yes. And to that end, Shashank asked the question: is there any way to watch morning IWL other than this? Are logistics to stream so expensive?
No.
So I am going to actually screen share something and I'm going to break something down for you guys. Okay.
Mm.
I just have to figure out how to screen share. Oh, can you see?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the bid that was released.
Wait.
This is the
No.
tender that
No.
was
No.
released. AIFF has done. Okay. The number two is
Just
the
a
one that has
second.
won the tender for
Can't see.
production of IW.
We can't see
Can't
the
see. Can't
screen.
see.
Can't see.
No. Try sharing screen again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying. 1 second.
Turn off and turn on. Hmm.
Share. Can you see now?
No.
You guys
Give
can't
it
see?
some time. No, give it some
No.
time. Give it some time.
Okay. If you can't see, then I'm just going to explain, right? So you can. This is
Um,
this.
try. Do you have like a link or is it a document?
It's a document.
Okay. Like, try sending it. I'll try and see if it works.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
And meanwhile, you can start speaking. Just try and
Is
send it to
it
me.
is it the 2023 financial bid?
No, it's yeah. You have it.
Ah,
So essentially, what I'm saying
wait
is
one second.
the financial bid. If you look at the
Let
financial
let
bid
me
tender,
try and let me try and share
am I
screen
still
again.
screen sharing? No, right?
No.
Okay. So the financial bid tender.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we can.
See, so if you look at it, you can see when the date it when it was announced. Okay, it was announced on
21st April.
21st April
April.
and it was closed on 24th April. So 21st April to 24th April was a weekend, and it was a Eid weekend also.
Mm,
And you had to submit your bids in those 3 days. And 20 those is they are very close dates to the IWL anyway. Now the second one is the one that has won the bid, the 85 lakhs 68,000 wala. That is the one that has won the bid for the production alone.
mm,
Right. So now, if you look at it, they are spending that much money to produce, which should have been 63 game season, but
mm,
they are only doing 34 games.
mm.
So you break it down, I think it comes around 2.5 lakhs, I think, per game.
Yeah.
So that much money is being given by the federation to produce this thing. So
This
now you and
this
today we
quality.
read, sorry.
This is the quality.
Yeah, and today we read that this was from last year's budget. Of course, they have the right within they have committees there to shake up the budget if they have to. And considering the fact that
Also,
last year it was on Eurosport and this time it is only on YouTube, you could have
exactly.
done less money for promotion. Maybe you could have put that money into prize money for the players and the thing because it's not like that you can't say teams haven't invested. They've all got foreigners, they have done whatever they have to do.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I am just breaking it down for you so that you understand
Al-
that how much money is actually being spent on production and what is the level that we are seeing here. Now, I don't
yeah.
know who is finally responsible for taking the call here. So I'm just going to leave it up in the air. But it is something that we can ask a question about spending 2.5 lakhs per game to get this quality and only on YouTube. It's not
And also,
yeah.
we read today
Mm.
that they're going to broadcast the evening matches with a 5 camera setup, which is why that kind of money. I want to understand if that is a 5 camera setup.
I honestly I
Because
don't think it is a 5 camera setup.
it's not. It's not. And
Whether
we
they
read
use
it
it is a
today.
different thing. But it's a 5 camera.
It was bizarre. It was bizarre, and a 5 camera setup would look extremely different. Secondly, I don't think at this point of time it's important to have a massive setup, but it is more important, like, to just broadcast every single game, even if it's like on the lower side of the quality. I think lower side of the quality people can do with. It is more important that they get to watch all games.
Absolutely. So just so that you guys understand, the amount of money spent per game is this much, which should have been around 1.3 or 1.4 if all the games were telecasted, but it is not. So we are looking at, I think, 34 games that are going to be telecasted, including the knockouts. So yeah, just putting it out there. I don't think you will get this kind of stuff in any other podcast.
One second. One
And it's
second.
not
One second.
difficult also. Can I just say this is public document also?
Yeah, but like when you have your podcast named after substance abuse or pandering to one particular set of fans, this is what happens. You don't do all this, and this is public document. This is dated 26th April, by the
What?
way.
So explain the document before you say.
Yeah, this is 26th April. This is dated today. For and on behalf of the All India Football Federation, invites sealed tenders from eligible applicants for engagement in the National Photo Agency for the work listed under live action match images of Indian Women's League football. And today only in one group, right, we were saying that they don't even have proper photo,
Hmm.
Yeah.
right?
Obviously, if you put out a tender on 26 when when the league is going to start, I mean, good luck getting images.
Yeah, so this is in-depth breakdown. Okay. Now we'll move on to the next questions because there is no more point of talking about this, but we just wanted to put out the amount of money that is being spent and the kind of telecast that we are getting, and also when the tenders are being called for certain actions. If you go and check in another one of the tenders, AFF is going to redesign yeah. Quite a few things. Go see the amount that has been given in the tender. Anyway, Vinay is asking, compare and contrast BCCI Women IPL and AIFF IWL. Learnings Football Gawadi can take from the cricket board. Now, before I put it out to you guys, I just want to say, first of all, cricket in India is a massive sport, much bigger. They were always going to get a larger market share than in football, women's football would have gotten. And huge money went into it from the from broadcasters, from the teams bidding, etc., which hasn't happened here. So I'm going to throw it out to you guys now. Take it and run with it.
I have one more fun thing to share. Fun. No, not only is this not fun,
What
right?
is this?
These are the this is a tender. So these are the quotations that AFF received,
For
right?
what? You say for what?
For the brand strategy and design agency for
This is
all
what I
India.
just mentioned.
Okay.
Okay.
So interestingly, the two disqualified are two not designed Christopher Pine. I have no idea. But I do know the two who have qualified, L1 and L2. Meraki Sport and Entertainment. You might know them as the social media agency for Kerala Blasters and Northeast United. And Trans Stadia, where is the IWL being held again? Like, ha. So, yes. So, at least what we're hearing, Sandeep, is that the 41 lakh is the bid that,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
huh. Is the L1 bidder in the above circumstance? Answer is the L1 bidder. Okay, 41 lakhs. Cool, cool. I think since it's tender day, right?
Yeah.
Since it's tender day, we should अच्छे से we should dig. This is dated 21st April for the eligible contractors of appropriate class for the vendor for work listed below. Live broadcast. So 5 days before this was issued. Oh, number of matches. Oh, Sandeep, you have your answer here.
34.
The tender itself says it is 34 matches. Number of venues, 2. Okay. Okay. Yes, it's clear.
The tender only asked
The
about this
tender
many
था
matches.
for 34.
टेंडरिंग ने पहले बोल दिया कि मॉर्निंग मैचेस की टेंशन मत लो, वी ओनली वांट इवनिंग मैचेस बिकॉज
I swear you
all
guys will
matches
not
should
get this
not
on
be
any other
televised.
podcast. I
Because
swear.
all matches should not be televised.
So now you saw, I mean, I did not see the calling Wala tender one that closely as much as the winning Wala tender document. So I sat and calculated the number of games and the number of morning games and all to get the number
Hmm.
34. I did not know they called only for 34.
Hmm.
So that's something learning for me also. So yeah, I'm sure enlightened as we are. Any this question earlier,
Yeah.
Abby, learnings that they can take from the cricket board.
Yeah. See, I think in terms of if you're looking at the learnings, I think there would be a lot of them overall in terms of just trying to push the game overall, strategizing as to how to build a certain profile and stuff. I mean, in terms of if you talk about women's cricket, I don't think the BCCI is also very good. I don't think they also do a great job with women's cricket. Uh, but um, given that it's a cricket board, they have a lot more uh, money, and I would say also,
Public interest also.
Do
yeah,
you
public interest,
do you,
the guarantee of returns
Hmm.
do you guys see this?
is much greater.
Uh,
So it just helps in building that kind of strategy.
so the
Where I would fault AIFF completely is that they don't. I think BCCI started and built that sort of vision that this is where we want to take the game in the country, and sort of ran with that, in not with without too many changes in terms of outright vision. And I think with AIFF, it's like it's not, the vision is non-existent, and I feel that is the problem. biggest. I don't think they understand what they need to do.
No, the BCCI also, to be fair, the BCCI gets a lot of things right, but it also sometimes treats its fans like shit.
Yeah,
For
that's
example,
that's what I said.
last minute cancellation of test match and not even apology. But you know what? India is the number one country with like the best cricket culture, so it can do whatever like for them. And I shouldn't say this because I feel bad, but one fan goes, they'll just get another one. Indian football, what the? I mean, why is it so? I don't want to use an expletive because I want it to be a family show, right? So, why is it so like so callous, right? I mean, within a matter of seconds, we were like, "Huh, this is tender day." We pulled out, and it exposes the mentality of callousness.
But I will give credit to this AIFF that they are putting everything out. They are as transparent as possible, for whatever reason, for good or bad. But at
Before,
least they're doing that.
before also financial audit,
Financial audit
Financial
was not a
hmm,
lot of these tenders we would find missing. I have gone and checked.
huh.
But yeah, well, moving on to next question. Vinay's second question is pretty much the same. Shaggy has asked three questions. I think the first one is again something we've
You know
discussed.
what? You know what? Instead of giving, I'm honestly, we're just tired of giving AF a free strategy on this thing, right? They have a director of strategy. They're paying people money to do this. Let them figure it out. It's high time they figure it out because it's not that difficult. It's not that difficult, guys. It's not. I swear to you, it's
I
really,
agree. There are
really,
people in India only who
really
can
not.
do it very well.
And if you're a head of strategy, then you're saying, "Oh, social media pe dalo." You, my friend,
अरे so
you
social media पे भी तो they're not putting morning
वो
matches, they were
वो भी
not
नहीं कर रहे,
broadcasting and not
वो
putting
भी नहीं
updates
कर रहे.
also. I mean,
And
that's
I've been
pathetic.
saying this. Vision 2047 has one word missing from it, which is the biggest word, culture. Right? How are you going about it? Your culture, your organizational culture has to change. They have to love football, not act like they despise it, not work against the fan. Right? Work with the fan. That's the last piece of advice I'm going to give them. Honestly.
Yes. Now, Shaggy has asked three questions. So the first one we've already discussed. So I'm going to do the other. Three-tier league structure, is it viable when we are struggling with one?
No.
Okay. So no simple answer. No. University tie-up is another one. He said, "Look, I think
Yes.
what Shaji
Yes.
did."
No, no, no. This is kind of a master stroke. I agree.
No, that's what I was saying because we've also discussed this, and it
They
is
have
part of
money.
the
Yeah.
article that I wrote as well. They universities have money, and they can put into
University
the team.
and teams. That, by the way, a lot of women footballers miss the IWL in order to go for the university nationals because of
Yeah.
scholarship and everything depends on it. By the way,
Yeah.
so there is a university nationals bhi hota hai, and
Hmm.
it's a team in our backyard that always ends up winning it most of the time. That is GNDU Haryana.
Hmm.
Most of them are players from Alakpura or Mangali, and which is, by the way, like, I mean, for people who watched the first IWL, Hops is just Alakpura FC redefined. So
Yeah.
that's a bit of nostalgia for those who did, those 80 people who used to watch it back in the day. So yeah,
So
this I wanted to go
now
team
we
by
have
team. Huh,
Arun asking question: how many of the current IWL teams will survive?
huh.
Literally considering the finances,
This I wanted to go team by team, right? Group A has Gokulam.
they will
Yes,
survive.
yes. Misaka, maybe. It's a
Maybe
big
it's
maybe.
a maybe.
It's
100%.
a big, it's a, I would say it's more of a no only, right? Sports Odisha, yes. Mumbai Knights, yes. Uh, Hops FC, uh, maybe strong community ties. Maybe a community leader comes up and these girls have got a lot of PR. Like they're pretty well known. Hops FC pretty well known. Kahani, yes, I've heard it's a trust. So maybe that's also a big maybe only, right? By the way, Kahani has not paid any of his players. I think this time. I think they only have like a couple of players on contracts. That's it. Mata Rukmani, yes, as I understand, Ardor Football Academy have what do you say, taken over the operations there. So So yes, East Bengal, yeah, for sure. My screen is shared, right?
Hmm.
Celtic Queens, from what I understand, no. CRPF, yes. Churchill Brothers, they are anyway, like I said, they are not like they have a very limited budget when it comes to a men's team. Also, they're like losing 10 CR. So for them, like 1 or 2 CR is also a lot of lost. So they may not, honestly, because the men's football climate, like I said, those teams are losing a lot of money. ESU, no. I think I read an article today. Kickstart, uh,
Big
because
maybe.
maybe it's a big maybe. They have it, but they may not choose to because it's not the wisest investment when it comes to women's football. For somebody who genuinely loves football, it may not. Lords FA this year only, I heard a lot of financial crunch. I'm also hearing they have a lot of political support also, so I don't know what to believe and what not to believe. But yeah, Odisha FC, yes. Setu again, that's a big maybe,
I
right?
think yes, because they have university support.
Huh. But yeah, I mean, listen, the 32 lakh thing literally kicks these people who are the pillars of the IWL. And it's in my 15-point manifesto. I'm not saying it's a great manifesto, right? Uh, but one of the thing is incentivize women only clubs.
Yeah.
In Delhi right now, I just found out there's inflation. So in order to field a team in the lowest division of women's football, it's 5 lakh. It's
Yeah.
it's just it's just insanity. Like it's when
Yeah.
is this insanity going to
It's just
end?
pushing people out. It's just pushing clubs out.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's go even if I will struggle to get 50,000 sponsorship per year. People are just giving. They're not giving because there is some strategic tie-up. There is no. These are all connections, right? These are all just connections. You understand what I'm saying, right, Sandeep?
Yeah,
Like, these are all bloody connections. That's it.
yeah. So I'm just moving on to the next question here. How can the AFF be made accountable for
They
mismanagement
can't.
of handling IWL? I
They
think we
can't.
have done as much as anybody.
Yes.
Please. Uh,
And will anything be different next season in a way for IWL clubs? Can we expect
what
IWL
only
clubs
next
to
season we
make?
can say? What only next season we can say?
Yeah, because we don't know. Next season, if you want a four-tier league, one of the things that I was figuring out through the conversations last week was there is not enough people to make a four-tier league system.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how that will
This
happen.
is again.
And
This is
and
again going in the
fourth
top.
year
This is
league
again some top bottom shit. This is again top bottom shit. Like
and
it's
fourth year league के लिए तो they'll have to have a calendar.
very
Yeah.
passive,
वो possible ही नहीं है with the federation.
passive money
But
and
I
money.
do think next year onwards there is going to be a calendar. I was told IWL will be in October or November.
It's a bare minimum that can
Yeah.
happen.
So
Honestly, like,
already they've said it will be either in October or
I'm not
November.
going to cheer because my friends from outside who work in the football industry they laugh at me when I tell them men's football got a calendar this year. It's a
Hmm.
bare minimum. Let's stop cheering for the bare minimum. Move on to the other questions.
Yeah. So I think that was all the questions that we had.
Mhm.
One Indian men's player or one international player salary can convert current average.
One, we didn't say it was 16K concurrent, it was 16K total. That's what we said. It's 1.3
Yeah.
concurrent. But that's what happens when I mean Gokulam probably good option was to have all their matches broadcasted because you know there's going to be demand for them.
Like
Uh,
Ashu's comment that morning matches due to summer heat makes sense. I agree. But at the same time, first of all, scheduling should have been done better. This whole season should have ended by
listen,
March. Secondly,
listen,
8
listen.
a.m. could have had the thing in the evening also.
Yeah, please. That's what I'm saying. It's. I mean, I'm sorry. Like it's there are fixes nowadays. It's 2023, boss. It's the age of
And
technology.
also
12-year-olds are building bots in their bloody backyard. This is embarrassing. Like it's just
you have to plan. I mean,
uh,
it's not like you decided to
no,
play in
yeah,
Gujarat,
yeah.
so then you plan it
You play in
accordingly.
Gujarat, right? I was telling you, the only two places which would get crowds for women's football right now would probably be Manjeri or the Kuman Lampak. Any of the
Very
two
good.
places would have been great places to hold this tournament, right? And get the gate receipts, give some back to the team. Think, think. It's not that difficult, guys. It's not that difficult.
Yes, I think on that somber note, we'll end the women's thing here. Before we stop, we just want to talk a little bit about the Super Cup that
Super
happened
Cup.
yesterday. Odisha, congratulations, Odisha FC, well deserved. Better team in the final. I think that means only Northeast United and Kerala are the two ISL teams who have not won a silverware so
Yeah.
far. Odisha, a lot of people were trolling the team. Even I was not the most convinced about the team, I have to say. But
Abby,
kudos to Rohan,
Abby
kudos
is
to
very happy. Abby is very happy. DDFC won.
yeah, kudos to Clifford, kudos to Rohan, kudos to everybody who did
Kudos
what
to
they had
Then
to do.
Network who decided to sell the club.
Yeah,
And
everything. So, what did you guys? I mean, forget the fact, not forget the result. But I just want to ask, like Odisha winning this title, they're investing into women's football. It looks like they are going to get
also kudos to the
Loberas coming in.
head honchos of kudos to head honchos of football Delhi, without whose intervention this miracle would never have happened. They
Yeah,
would
yeah.
never
I
get
mean,
into
Rohan
Odisha.
has actually come on the podcast and spoken about what happened in Delhi. It's backdated, I think, 2021 or something. You can
Yeah,
go and
and
check it.
Sandeep will still not clip it because Sandeep and Rohan are good friends. We get that also. My call on
Texted him last week, he did not reply.
intercollegiate football at 25K with KSF referees. Shashank Reddy, that you can host matches 25K, बहुत ज़्यादा, too much, too much, he said. 2.5 lakh for broadcast. I mean, if I start talking about it, I can go on about, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
But yeah, the note is that you are happy because Rohan is happy. I get it. And we are all happy
No, I
because
mean, I literally said I texted him last week and not reply.
uh, and no, he's also refused to come on our pod. We understand, Rohan, you're scared, but it's a good
What?
thing, right? No, I'm just saying he's probably scared of the podcast, right?
No, I think now if we ask, he'll come because they've just
Hey,
won.
he's
But
one. No,
I
he's
really
one.
want to. I really want to see if Odisha win women's IWL also. I really want to get him on to see like what are your long term plans because you've invested in Sergio Lobera now, which is a heavy investment. I think there was some great fiction written about it. Well, fiction written
What?
about it also on
Was
Twitter.
it about Sergio Lovero? I didn't know only.
Oh,
Oh,
ayo, I have
uh-huh.
outed it.
What is this? I don't know. I haven't seen any fiction.
Okay, so yeah, you can check those things also. But to be fair to them, they paid the money. I have to say, it's great to see Nanda actually have a great season. He's been like a little off color for so long. Good to see that he's had a decent season this time around. I think it's too late to be in the national team for forthcoming events, but good on him.
No, I've been one of the biggest critics on Nanda Kumar. I've always said decision making very poor, but this year I've been better for sure.
Yeah.
He was much better.
Yeah, and I
And
also want to ask this because I put this on Twitter. For Bengaluru FC, last year they had a horrible season. Last 2 years, bad seasons. This year, three finals, one trophy. How would you rate their season, considering all the
you put
background?
this question on Twitter, I was going to answer it. I think it's a very
Yeah.
good season. I
So
think most people,
Yeah,
yeah, I think most people would kill for this season. What three with the start of season with all the problems and doing the ISL and all. If you had told them then
yeah,
boss, you already won this tournament and you're going to reach two more finals, they'd bite your hand off. I
yeah,
understand, like and the team which always feels the worst is a losing finalist. Always, there's nothing worse than losing a final. But at the start of the season, you tell Sunil that listen, boys, you're going to reach three finals. I think they take it.
yeah.
yeah.
We'll take it. Even I agree. What do you think, Abby?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, same, pretty much. I think it's a fantastic season. Just losing the Super Cup final yesterday, I mean, I'm not sure that would make it any like even a bit bad season. I think it just goes on to show that if you have a plan and you kind of fight out in tough times, I think yeah, you find a way.
Mm.
Yes, in Indian football, we are always looking to find ways
Now,
to do this and that and the
by
other.
the way, when you're talking transparency, one more thing I want to say before you this thing is I just remember. whenever MYS hires somebody for a post, they put the salary for the post also, right? So in this case, I was hoping some top office bearers ka details should. Have you guys ever seen openings put out by Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports?
I may have. I don't.
They'll
Of the,
say athlete manager 60,000 per month or 1 lakh, whatever they'll
I
put
mean,
out.
I've seen the call for the job. I haven't seen the
Yeah.
final. Yeah.
So I'm saying best, you know what the best thing for transparency with AFF, thoda watch.
Salary, you put salary. Yeah?
I mean, yeah, it's a personal thing. I get it. But I mean, since we're talking about transparency, I'm talking about what the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports does. I'm just telling that is probably even more transparent, right? But anyway, yeah, let's just end it. Uh,
Yes.
yeah,
And like Orkos mentioned, transparency. We are the most transparent podcast on Indian football, and we will
Yeah.
try and speak sense and truth as much as possible. And that is a guarantee. So, for to ensure that you don't miss the forthcoming truths and transparent stuff that we're going to talk, please hit like,
also,
subscribe.
guys, please get us to the 2,000 mark. That's what I'm going
Yes,
to say.
in the
Please.
thousands,
Yeah,
wherever.
no, I'm telling you guys, let us know what we can do. Please share these podcasts. Like I said, these are the only three people who actually will give you the truth behind the scenes, the truth and nothing but the truth. So get us, right? Let us know who you want us to get. Engage with us, right? We are also the funniest guys, also, right? I have somebody has to praise me, right? So
I
it'll.
thought you were going to talk about me because I did a stand-up show.
I
Okay.
mean, it wasn't so great, Sandeep, but
Wow.
I,
Wow. Me.
right.
Like
But
legit stand-up guys came and said it was great for a first try. So I'm just going to take their positive vibes and ignore your negative vibes and and move on with the podcast.
yeah.
Yes, like Orko said, please help us get to
Oh,
the
you
top.
mean Naveen will lie? Naveen just
Happy.
lies around Ashutosh. That's what we, we mean. He's the human version of Snorlax. But as I was
Gokulam
saying,
reference and all. Wow.
yeah, as I was saying, I'm still funnier than Sandeep, and you guys can catch us on YouTube, right? And till
Or
then,
podcast and on Twitter call Injury Time IND,
um,
wherever it is. If and please tell us also what we can do to
Spotify. We should really get
get.
on Spotify
So we are on
also.
Spotify.
Are we on Spotify? I
Yeah,
never
we're all
listen
on.
to it on
We are all
Spotify.
everywhere. Wherever you want to find us, we are there. But you just have to go and find us. That's all we ask you. So yeah, with that, I think I've been extending this ending part for a long time. But please do like, subscribe, and do all those good things. We are getting more podcasts on. We are trying to get other players and coaches on as well. Currently negotiating with multiple entities. So if something comes up, we will let you know. And yeah, this is where we are. And please enjoy the game and come back to us next week also whenever we're back.
Peace.